Welcome to SwiftCat. This is fourth episode of macOS Development Complete course. If you haven't watched my first three episodes, please go through those. I have provided their link in my video description. Now, in this episode, we're gonna learn about SpriteKit game development. It's my first game tutorial with SpriteKit. Here we're gonna make a small game just to get basics in game development, and we'll focus on bigger game app development in upcoming episodes. Right. So I recommend to subscribe this channel now itself to get upcoming videos. So what we are making at the end of this video is with the rabbit and the balls to get all the counts and all the stuffs when it's in physical contact. So let's start making it. First of all, I'm searching for my Xcode, right? And I'm going to create a new Xcode project. And here I'm going to use a macOS of kind game. It's not an app, it's a game. So I'm selecting macOS game. Click next. I'm going to name it as Rabbit Game App. And I'm using the language Swift, and the game technology which I'm using is SpriteKit. And click next. I'm going to save it in my project folder and create. Now it's pretty simple. As we create the project, we have few stuffs already there, like game scene.sks file, action.sks file. We will go much deeper about these files later on. And we have this vcontroller with the game scene.swift file, all these things ready. In our main.storyboard also there is vcontroller, and vcontroller is set to a game scene, and inside that they have few stuffs by default from Apple. So let's run and check what it exactly does. Hello world, and this is the game app by default set by Apple, and if I touch inside that, it will be having animation like this. It's pretty nice and it's very simple. Actually, we don't need this kind of animation and label inside our app, so I'm just stopping it right and head over to this game scene.sks and action. So I'm clicking those three files along with the game scene.zip file. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete those three files. Move to trash. Let's come back to main.storyboard as well. And I have here the view controller scene, so I'm just pressing it over and click backspace, so I delete that as well. So now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add plus button, which is of object library, and going to select a new view controller, take over and place inside. Let's make much more bigger. Alright, and then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to redirect this, so plus control and drag it over here as a window content. So when the app runs, it goes directly to this view controller. Alright, and then what I'm going to do next is go to this view and come over here, and inside the custom class what I'm going to select is SK, which just means a SpriteKit view, and press enter. This is very important that you need to specify this view as SK view in order to call our SpriteKit game scene. Alright, and then I have provided a link in my video description about the complete source code of this project. If you click that, it will redirect to GitHub repository, which is having the full source code. If we go to this code, and you can download or open it in Xcode, right? If you download that, you can find assets and the source files, all those things. So inside the assets, I have given in few image sets which we need or required in our app. So what I'm going to do next is inside my assets, I'm going to take all the files, which means the image assets, into my inside my assets folder. I have here sets of images. You can find the image from my source code which I provided. So I'm going to select them all and drag it over inside my assets. All right, and then we will go back to this main.storyboard, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to this view controller and going to set this class for my VC. So it's already we have a view controller, so I'm entering that one as my subclass. Alright, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file which is for a game scene. So it's a new file which is of Swift file type, and name it as game scene. I'm going to create that as well. And inside that, let's say I want to import the SpriteKit, so let's say import SpriteKit, and then I'm going to write a class for this game scene. So game scene with sk scene, and let's head over back to this vcontroller.zip file. So inside this we don't need this sk view anymore, so I'm deleting that one. And if let view is equal to self.skview, so we don't have this sk.view, so instead of that, view dot self.view as skview, and inside this I'm going to create a scene which is for a game scene. So I'm closing all these stuffs. We don't need if let, so we just need a game scene. So game scene which is of sk scene. I have here the scene name as game scene, so, and it's not of file name type. I need to give the size of the file which I'm using. So let's say game scene of size view dot bounds dot size. This is the view actually this is the view which I am setting it over here. What exactly it does is, if when the app runs, it goes directly to the widget load, and this view will be called as sk view, and the game scene which is going to be this game scene which I have selected there, and it's going to be size view dot bounds out size, which means the full length. So what happens here is I need to change the game scene as game scene, and for the presentation as well, game scene, sorry, view dot present scene as game scene. And I can ignore this file view dot ignore sibling order because we're going to set a background, so we just delete that. So this is what exactly being called when it goes to widget load. Let's head over back to game scene.zip file, and we need a few more stuffs to write over here. Okay, now I'm going to add a delegate which is for a physical contact required when the object gets in touch physically. I need to recognize, so I'm getting a physical contact delegate, which means called of physics contact delegate. And inside this I need I'm going to call here two objects which is for the background and rabbit. So let's say let rabbit node will be equal to sk sprite node, which is of image named, the image which I have named here is rabbit, and I'm going to get the another guy which is for a background. So let's say background node will be equal to of same kind sk sprite node, which is of image named, and the image which I have named over here, it's background. Let's head back to this assets folder which is having the image name as background and have the rabbit name as rabbit, and have a play button and a ball as well. So let's go back to game scene, and then from here what I need is I'm going to call a override function which is for did move. Actually what exactly this override function does is it's similar like in view controller with a view did load. Instead of that we have a did move, which means to recognize whether it have moved inside or not. So let's say I'm going to import here self dot background node. I'm going to create this background image inside our game scene. So the position will be like kind of 0. Then self dot background node dot the position of the image will be equal to CG point, and inside the CG point I need to call the X and Y delegate, which is for the CG float. So let's say X will be the size of width by 2. So self dot size dot width, and it will be half of that, and the Y will be of same like self dot size dot width, sorry, self dot size dot height divided by 2. Then I need let's make more space over here. We're going to write a few codes, more codes which we need to write over here. So let's say background node dot size of the image, that's what it's me here. So let's say CG size of size of, we need the exact size and same like the image. So let's say, so width I'm going to set it as self dot size dot width with the exact image size width, and the height will be type self dot size dot height. And then I'm going to call self dot view, the view which means that already have a view which is of same view, and I need to give this allow transparency, which means that we have 2-3 objects at the same time. So this what exactly does is when I add images, it should not overlap, which means it should not hide. I need a transparency, that's what it means. So then I'm going to add this as a child, which is of self dot background node. That's what from here we are getting the background image inside our game scene. Then I need to call this a physical contact, which means like a physics world dot contact delegate, which means we are getting the objects get physically in touch, that's what it means. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a function which is to add the rabbit. So let's say func add rabbit is of kind, and let's say rabbit node dot name will be equal to rabbit, and then rabbit node position, I need rabbit node dot position, the position at which in the scene we need to call them, that's what it means. Position dot let's say position dot y, it will be equal to 50 is the y position, and again I have the rabbit node dot position dot x, which means the position in the x axis. If you are not familiar with the x and y axis, it's nothing but here I will explain it in the storyboard how this sizes are being called with the x and y axis after writing this code. So self dot size dot width position self dot size dot width divided by 2, and then I need this rabbit node to be called as a set scale. So rabbit node dot set the scale which is of scale type of CG float, I need a 0.2, and then let's make some space, a rabbit node dot physical body, which means physics body will be equal to the escape physics body of rectangle of, oh, it will be the rectangle of size, which is called a rabbit node dot size of the rabbit, which means when it is in physical contact, I don't need to compress or something like that, it will be remain as same. So rabbit node dot physics body dot affected gravity, let's say false, there's no gravity effect when the ball touches inside this rabbit, that's what it means. And rabbit node dot physics body dot is dynamic, let's say false. And at last what I need is self dot add child, which is of kind rabbit node. So that's inside this rabbit node function. And then we need to add a ball as well. So let's say add rabbit over here, let's call this rabbit inside this did view did move. And next function I'm going to write for add ball. So let's say func add ball, this is the function which I'm going to add the ball, and I need the balls to be coming from up as a random basis. So let's say random will be equal to arc random underscore uniform of let's say the bound of UI int 32 of size will be the self dot size dot width. This is of int and 32. Okay, then let's say let uniform UI, alright, let's just uint, that's pretty nice now. And then let's ball will be equal to sk sprint, which means I didn't build this sprint node of image. So let's say sprint node of image, which is of image named, and the image name will be name ball. So we can take this from here and cut this and place it over on the top here. Okay, doesn't matter. And then let's say ball dot position dot y will be equal to self dot size dot height will be equal to self dot size dot height. And then ball dot size position dot y dot x will be equal to CG float random, which means when the ball physically touches with the rabbit, I need to get a randomly I need to call at every time, which means continuously the ball should come from up. That's what it exactly does. Then the ball dot set scale, which is of kind 0.2 data scale. Okay, then let ball dot name will be equal to ball, and then I need ball dot physical body, which means physics body will be equal to escape physics body of circle of radius. circle of radius, I need the ball dot size dot width divided by 2, which is so self dot, sorry, ball dot size dot width divided by 2, and then ball dot physics body dot contact test bit risk, which means which is in contact test bit mask will be equal to 1. And then let's say move action will be equal to sk action of kind remove from parent, or else we can move to y axis with a duration of 5. So dot move to, which is of vector by let's say y of 0 kind, and the duration will be of, let's say, 5. I will get into it what exactly it does, okay, don't worry. And let's say delete action will be equal to sk action dot remove from parent. And then I need the ball to be run, ball dot run randomly again. So let's say ball dot run with an action and with a sequence as well. So action, which is of kind sk action dot sequence. The sequence which I am going to call over here is an array which is of move action and delete action. So let's say move action and delete action. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the child, which is of add child, and the node is ball. So this is in xk action move, I have to set the 2 as well. So it says move to this y action, which means the ball will be in contact, and when it is in contact, I need to remove from parent. That's what exactly happens. And then when the ball runs, it goes to the move action, and with a sequence get added, which means move action and delete action. That's what it happens exactly here. And then we will go back to what happens if the rabbit and this rabbit gets in contact with the ball. I need to add a scoreboard, which is going to write it here as a function, which is to add score label and inside the score label I'm going to write a score node, which I need to create it over here. So let's go up over here and write some let constants. Let score node will be equal to sk label node, and I need this sk label node as a text, which is of kind string. And let's say when the app runs at first, the sprite node with the text will be of kind 0, which sorry, yeah, the SpriteKit with the text will be of 0, and when the score have to be added at every time when the rabbit is in physically contact with the ball. So that's what we're going to make here, right? So this score node dot font color. So font color, let's say the font color will be equal to dot white, and the score node dot position of the CG point, which means what position we need to call this. Let's say I need to call it's in the middle of the app. So CG point and I need to set here the x and the y axis. So let's say x and y axis of kind self.size.width, self.size.width by 2, and in y, let's say self.size.height will be off by 2, which means the scoreboard will be appeared at the middle of our game app. That's what I am doing here right now. And let's say this add child, I need to add the score label, so let's say score node inside that. And then what I'm going to do is yeah, I'm going to inside this override function, I'm going to call this add ball function, and I need to add the score as well, so going to add score label inside this did move. And then what I'm going to do is I need to initialize this score as 0 when it is in first time launch. So let's say scores will be equal to 0 until it touches in physical contact. That's what I'm going to do with this. Okay, and var, let's say I need a timer inside, which at each time I need to throw the ball, so I am going to call a timer inside this. And I'm not going to add this add ball because I'm going to add the ball inside the timer, which means at each 1 second I need the ball to be thrown randomly. So let's say timer will be equal to the timer dot schedule timer with interval, with the time interval which I'm setting here is 1, and the repeat I need 1 second. Let's say we schedule timer with action target and action. We need this function actually. Timer select interval, and the target we need will be of self kind, and the selector which I'm going to call here is with the add label. So let's say selector, and the object which I'm going to call here is add ball, and info I'm going to set it as nil, and the repeats I say it's true, which means continuously I need to repeat that one function. So that inside this did move function, which is of override. And then what we going to do is I'm going to override function for this mouse being dragged down or dragged, which means when the I need to set a override function for mouse down, which means the mouse gets in touch with the app. That's what it means. So the mouse down with the event, which means like with event I need override move down. I'm going to write over here with event, which is of ns event, and inside this load I'm going to write location will be of equal to event, which is of the event when it's going on, and the location which is of inside in will be of self kind, which means the when the user touches, that's what it means. And the what happens is I need to call this rabbit node dot position dot x. So I'm going to scroll it as an x. So that's what it does. So location dot x, which means whenever I drag the image, which means drag the rabbit, I need to change this x-axis. That's what I'm going to do over here. So that's inside this. And then when the mouse being tracked, which means uh, override, so mouse tracked with event, and which is of ns event. Let's say location will be equal to event dot location will be of kind inside this is of self, and then rabbit node dot position dot x, which means like a rabbit node dot position dot x will be equal to rabbit location of the mouse track position dot x. Exactly. Yeah, yeah, we have here override. Yeah, what's the error showing is it's not move down, actually it should be a mouse down. Yeah, pretty nice. Then I have here an error which is for object. Let's say object right down, that's right. The error has gone. And as I said, there is a link which is having the source code for this project, and let's move into that. Inside that I have a file which is of game scene. Inside that, head over to a few stuffs which is for did begin and update. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy these two functions, and head over back to this Xcode, right, and I'm going to paste it over here. This is because that if I keep on writing, the video length going to be takes more, that's why. So what exactly happens is did begin, which means when the game starts begin, I have created two new nodes which is for a contact with the body A and body B. So what the body A and body B is, if the node is in contact with the ball, which is the node A will be the body one, which is a ball. If it's in contact, I will say that it will remove from parent and scores will be added as +1. Else, if the node is in B, which means if we touch again with a ball, and it going to be removed from the parent and the score is going to be plus, which means at the end what exactly happens is score node dot text will be scores, which is means if it's 0 and the rabbit gets in contact with the physical ball, which means physically if in contact, the scores get added at each contact, which means +1 +1 likewise, and this final score will be updated in our inside our game scene. So inside what update happens, this is an override update function which is for a get ball self dot add child with a ball name ball, which means if the ball gets keep on adding means we can, otherwise if the ball at position 0, which means if the ball goes down below the or below the rabbit, which means I need to create a new scene which is for a game over scene, and I need to present that as a transition which is of kind animation. For that I need to create a new file which is of a new file, so I'm going to name it as zip file and game over scene. So let's say I'm going to create that one. So inside that I'm going to import SpriteKit and class. I'm going to create this as a game over scene, and it's of kind SK scene. And what exactly inside this is, we will go to this source code file and check for the game over scene.zip file. I'm heading over to that, and what I'm going to do is I'm copying this all, which means like let play button, all these stuffs, and coming inside and paste it. So here what happens is, here I have a play button which is of image name play, which I have the image assets already. Then inside this did move, what happens is I need to show that the background, as I set it as a dot orange color label as a game over, and I have set the phone color label, position size, all these stuffs. Then I have added this play button inside. So as soon as when the game when the ball goes beneath the rabbit, it will show this page which is having this background orange and game over as a text, and have a button with a play button. So after that I need to call an action, which means I need to go back to the game again when when the user touches the play button. So what exactly happens is location, I've set it here. If I point at play button, which means I need to put, set an animation and go back to the game scene, which is this is the zip file which is for the game scene. So let's go back to the game scene and say this is the game over scene which we set there from here. Okay, so this is all exactly, and let's run and check what we have done so far. Let's run the build. The build have succeeded, and the app runs this time with the rabbit and the balls. As you can see, when it gets in touch with a physical contact, the counts will be counted, and we will play again. And let's see, when the ball at Y position, it go backs. Okay, okay, so that's it. Pretty easy and simple. So this is a small game app which we have developed right now, and in upcoming episodes we will try to make much more bigger game apps. So stay tuned. I have provided the link of this complete source code in GitHub repository. You can download that, view the stuff, try to read all the stuffs, and we will see you in the next step. So thank you for watching, lads.